So how did him going to see the chairman change what was happening at Blackpool for you?
Didn't.
It didn't.
No.
He just went in and said
He had a go at him.
he had a go.
Everybody had a go at him, and he loved it because he wouldn't listen to him. No, he had it. What was great for me was that's a bloke like Jim,
Yeah.
and I'd always listen to him on, was it Five Live and all that, and he made so much sense, and it was just wonderful. But to get to know him in the way that I did was a joy, and all he said to me at the end of it all was, "Listen, thanks for the days in the sun." He sent me a card. "Ollie, I'm so sorry you left, but thanks for the days in the sun." And there wasn't much sun up in Blackpool. It used to rain nearly every goddamn day. And when the wind came, you know the goals that we've got on the wheels?
Yeah.
If we left them on the wheels, they would blow in the wind. I have Michael Jackson, that's where he filmed Smooth Criminal. We're leaning into the wind. Honestly, Steve Thompson was carried off twice with pneumonia.
Really?
Yeah, because he caught it on the training ground where he was like hypothermia and that. They got so ill in hospital because there was nothing. It was like it would take a layer of skin off because it picked up the sand on the beach and sandblasted you.
We've only been there once. I think it was September and it was cold then.
Yeah, it was cold and windy.
Well, they had Storm God knows Dara, and it was taking the whole front apart. Absolutely amazing.
But you were saying the other day that Blackpool team, you still got a group chat now where you all still speak. Obviously, Charlie Adam was here a couple of days ago and stuff like that. You don't get with many teams where sort of over a decade on they're still talking in a group chat. I mean, we haven't even got that with the team we got promoted with five years ago.
14 years.
Yeah,
14 years ago that was.
Yeah.
And what we did, I kept talking about. I was adamant that I'm not going there, leave my family at home and go up there and waste my time.
Yeah.
So I talked about we're going to get promoted. 3 teams are going to do it, and why can't it be us? If I train you in a way that I was trained when I was in the Premier League, if I make it habits, if you want to be the best that you want to be, right? If you don't want to do that, don't be. Get out, and we're not. So that's where we're going. And I said we're not wanting to do it. We're going to do it. So and all I made was things were habits, and every one of us had failed at something and somewhere. Stephen Craney had been to Leeds, right? And I just came in. You're all good enough, and I believe we can do this. I managed to get Charlie from Glasgow Rangers. I managed to get DJ from Leicester on loan. We had him on loan all season. And I thought they were important, but it was all about the patterns I wanted to create. And in that area, and in that area, and that area. And it was disguised long ball. So we'd work it. And I'd come up with, I had a whole year out where I was going on. Kim and I went to Spain and looked around and watched what the Spanish team did. I made notes on what on earth I felt they were doing and why it was good practices. We watched the national team train twice and play once. We went to Real Madrid, looked at their training ground. Wonderful little bloke called Paco took us around. You had 8 pitches going up this hill and a 9th pitch in the top, and everything's white and gold, and you're going up, your young ones are down the bottom, and you keep going up. And Ronaldo would drive by them away, but whoever their players are going up, and it's like, and those kids are treated exactly the same as the superstars.
Yeah.
But they're grounded.
Yeah.
And if you want to be where they are, you got to keep working hard, and everything was about hard work. So anyway, at the end of that tour, they had their own surgeries. Anybody who needs an operation, they had their own operating theatre in the training grounds. Absolutely. It's mental, right? Mental. But in the end, little Paco, the only English words he said to us was, all you need is one ball, one pitch, and bloody good players.
Brilliant.
That's what he said. One pitch, one ball, but bloody good players.
Oh, that's
How about that? But that, within a year I'd done that, and then I managed to get that Blackpool job, and I liked how they were defensively. I liked how senior they all were. I needed 1 or 2 changes, but Valeri Bellicon looked at, we had a board meeting, it was the most important one they'd ever had, because I wanted 5 players. And I'd identified them. And they were going to cost about 1.8 million.
Right.
So no one really talks about that, but the whole lot of it was about 1.8 million with their wages and God knows what. So the year before we were overdrawn by 750 grand. So Bellicon had paid half of it and our owner, Owen Oyston, had paid half of it. So this is another on top of that.
Yeah.
And I went, we could get promoted. So the manager thinks we could get promoted if we. So Bellicon went, what are you talking about? On what? How does he know why you want? And Matt Williams, we went, well, go down and see him. He's downstairs. Because Carl Oyston said, I recommend you take none of them. That's what he said. So Matt Williams, who was really on my side, came down. He went, he's recommended none of them. Bellicon's going to come and see you. I went, all right, tell him to come in. So he sits down. He went, how do you know these? Why these? Why this? I said, because I don't want these. That's the ones I don't want.
Yeah.
And these are the ones that me and my mates have selected to add to your team. There you go. So he went, and there was lists. It's nearly a whole pad. People from all around the world.
Yeah.
And why I didn't want them. Great player, wrong person. Boom. So he's going on and on. But how do you what? I said, I have a scouting network that I built for however many years.
Of course.
And I know what your team is. You have this skill, that skill. What I need is these areas to do this, and that's how I'm going to play. And I believe we could get promoted. I said, I believe we could get promoted.
Yeah.
I really do. And he, okay. So he goes upstairs. And then Matt Williams comes back down. He said, God knows what you've said. The money's going to be here by Wednesday.
Perfect.
No. So he put up the 1.8 million.
Wow.
He did. Not. He did. Send it over from his bank. There you go. We got the players. We drew the first 4 matches. And then we had a cup game and we played Wigan. And he put a strong team out. We beat them 4-1. It just started to, we outplayed them. We beat them 4-1. And then the lads started to believe, And then we got into the playoffs when everybody thought we were going to get relegated.
So I had Ian Holloway at QPR.
This is going to be good.
From up this way, so everyone knows him. So literally, we've got a team meeting. It's on a Friday, I think, day before a game. And you can hear this dog barking. So in QPR's training grounds, it was the old training grounds. You had the change rooms were at the far end, and then the offices were the other end. So I'm walking down the physio room, and I can hear barking from a dog. I'm thinking, one of the lads has brought their dog in or something, someone to look after. Thought nothing of it. So we've gone into the team meeting. Obviously, it's serious day before a game. He's come in. He's holding a chihuahua in his hand, in his arm, with a pink lead. So I think, what's going on here?
No.
I swear to you, he's walked in, he's taken the team meeting, holding his dog. And we're all just sitting there like, is he serious here?
Trying not to laugh.
Yeah, trying not to like, what's going on here? And he's got the dog's yapping as well while he's trying to do his team talk.
Lads are trying to focus on.
We're trying to watch clips and you've got the dog yapping. It's like, so I thought that's unbelievable. But he was such a character as well, similar to Neil Warnock in just stories and stories. There's another one as well. So we've got Millwall away, league games. So obviously local London derby. Yeah. He was manager of Millwall. So he's gone to us before we've gotten the coach to go to the ground. He's gone, lads, whatever you do, don't provoke the fans when you get there. Just keep your head down, get off the coach. Don't provoke them. So fine. So we've got there. He's at the front of the coach. He's the first one to step off. We've looked out of the coach window. He's standing there with his arms like this, just looking at the fans. And we're all like, what are you doing? So the fans, obviously, if there's full riot has kicked off, they're throwing bottles at the coach. They're trying to hit him with bottles. There's flares going off. We think 10 minutes earlier, he told us not to provoke him, and he's just stood there like that. thinking, what are you doing? At Millwall as well. That's a place you don't really.
You don't do that.
You
I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah, it's a very hostile,
Yeah.
hostile ground
It
that
is,
with the
yeah.
fans. It's a place you don't want to be doing that.
No, just go there, keep your head down, get the job done. And get
Yes,
out.
so none of the lads wanted to get off the bus. So
course.
we all sat there thinking, we're not getting off the coach here. And he stood there like, how he didn't get hit by a bottle that was flying through the air, I do not know.
He's walked in and just left you lot there.
Yeah. he's walked in and we're all stuck on the bus thinking, do we go? Do we stay here?
So on the first story there, did he explain why he had the chihuahua, or did he? There was no explanation. He just did the
No.
meeting,
So
and then just walks up there.
He's literally like, no warning. We've heard a dog barking and we think, oh, the lad, it's one of the lads. Like,
Yeah.
they've had to bring him. And he just walked in with a chihuahua on his arm.
And then the meeting
With a pink lead as well.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why has the dog got a pink lead on?
Meeting's just ended, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a serious team meeting as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Well,
Day
so-
before a game.
Okay, so what did he do with the dog when you went out to training?
Don't know. Probably just let it loose in the office, I'd imagine. I don't know.
Just locked it in the office and let it go mad.
Yeah, he had a microphone out at training, a megaphone. So he had a megaphone out training when he was doing 11 months as well. See, but he's shouting into a megaphone.
Oh,
You don't need to shout into a megaphone.
No,
that's the whole point, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. So he brought it out and he's shouting into the megaphone.
I mean, it sounds incredible.
But just a proper character.
We haven't really seen anything like that, have we?
No.
Not really.
We had a few like weird like superstition stuff, managers and stuff like that, but nothing on the scale of that.
There was like stories day in day out of him. It was just like relentless. But he was hilarious.
Yeah.
The chairman and chairwoman, they were really good, and even like straight after the season, obviously, as you do, you have like your end of season awards, and all the lads are like, "Come on, chairman, can we go to Vegas?" Blah blah blah. And because I'd been the captain there for like the 3 years,
Yeah.
and I was still the club captain last year, but Flinty wore the armband because he
course.
played most of the games. But he was like, "Ollie, I'll put the money in your account tomorrow morning, no problem." And there he goes, just sent 90 grand into the bank account. Just go and
What?
enjoy yourself, lads.
That's mental.
And obviously we pinged it, like we then got straight into it. We still had games left at this point. I think we had the last game of the season left, but obviously like we were just like
Of course.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant, like giving us that, and then we had the open top bus tour, and yeah, it was a good way to end really. And that obviously we were going to the Vegas on the Wednesday, and Nigel had promised this club from like down in Leicester like a pre-season friendly or something, or like we'll come and open your new like clubhouse.
Yeah.
So we've gone down there to play them in like an end of season friendly. Like we're all like, we're going to Vegas tomorrow. Like, what's going on there? What are we doing?
Yeah, what we doing?
Are you taking the piss? And we've gone down there. Can't remember. It was like Loughborough Dynamos or something. Like the pitch was wavy. Like we were like running, and you like going up and down in that, and it was rock hard because it had been like dry for
red hot. Yeah.
and we were like, what's going on? It's like accident waiting to happen. I think we won like 7-1, but like lo and behold, I'm in the mix of the game. Reedy actually rolls one a little bit to my right, and as I'm like running, this lad is just full pelt, like head loss, sprinting towards me, and he studded me, and he caught me literally. If I didn't lift my leg up like that, my leg was planted, I think I would have broke my leg.
Yeah.
I had stud marks, but he managed to get his studs in behind my pads and all the way down my shin, and I fully like lost my head, and
I can imagine.
I was like fucking like, and I was swearing that bad, and I went to the referee. I said, "It's a fucking disgrace, look at this." And I'd fully lost it. Like Nigel had to take me off. He was like, because he was like, "I didn't think he caught you that bad." And as I'm going off, I'm like swearing at the ref, swearing at the linesman,
And you got
and
to go to Vegas, and like,
yeah, and I was like, literally,
coming out your leg.
we were all saying it, like, it's a stupid game to play because these lads will think, like, oh, if I do well here, I might get a trial or something like that.
Yeah.
one of
It
them.
was just, like, ridiculous game to put us into after the season. Like, most of them were pretty chilled, but there was one lad who was, like, I think he had his earrings in, he had a sleeve, was, like, swagging around the place thinking he was a player. And he just lost his head, like, because we were obviously popping him off the pitch.
Obviously. Just one promotion League One. Like.
And yeah, it was just a ridiculous thing to do. But
So were you at the end of your contract last season?
yeah, so this is actually the maddest thing. So it's Wednesday now after this game, and we were all driving down to London, so I'm picking up a few of the lads, and as I'm driving to one of the lads, so we had our meetings that Wednesday as well, or the day of that game, and they were like, obviously, I kind of knew that they were triggering my extension because my agents were good pals with the Cloughs. Simon Clough obviously does a lot of the recruitment there, so they sort of told me a couple of days beforehand, like, yeah, you're going to be staying.
Yeah.
But we were driving down, so this is the Wednesday, we were driving down to Vegas, to the airport to go to Vegas, and Mildy texts me, "Hi mate, your name's just been brought up, blah blah blah, would you be interested?" And I said, "I'm just on my way to Vegas, mate, can I give you a call in a few days time?" But in the back of my mind I was like, yeah, 100% I would like to do that. Obviously at this point I didn't know who was manager, who was coming in or whatnot, so we go away, come back, first morning I'm back, I'm like ringing Mildy just to see what the crack is, put it in to my agent, so my agents obviously got in touch with the club and they were like, yeah, 100% we'd be interested. And obviously now is like, well, Mansfield just sort of said that they are going to trigger my option. Do I have to sign it or can I just walk away or whatever? But to be fair, I think it was an automatic trigger. But my agent had spoke to Nigel, and towards the end of the season I was playing in the big games. I played in the MK Dons games, Stockport games, and I had my fair share of game time, but I just felt that it was time for a new challenge. And my agent spoke to him and they were like, if it's something Ollie wants to do, then we're not going to stand in his way. And they were brilliant. So I spoke to him, and obviously I was having, my son was born in the summer, so I said obviously now is a perfect time for me to sort of look to go look to be around my family, even though my girlfriend is from up near Derbyshire, like Mansfield way. It's like I think what we were looking for is down here really, like better where I had a house and things. It was better for us to move back down and sort of start planning a bit more long term, because you obviously look at that when you get to my age, you start thinking, I was doing my B licence as well over the summer in Bristol, or in Cirencester, sorry, so I was down this way anyway when the conversations were happening. And it just sort of happened that fast that I didn't even have to go back to Mansfield after the season had ended, because it was like, you're done now, like you've decided to move away. We literally went up in a day, had a removals van and came back down and moved
Perfect.
moved back down. And it was like, as soon as I heard, I was like 100% be interested, but let me just go and enjoy a last little tear up with the lad.
I needed to speak to him.
For sure.
And then I went up there 2 days later and signed.
How was it up there?
Mark Yates, what's his name? Mark Yates. Way different, mate, in terms of you're at Swindon.
They were struggling.
You're at Millwall.
As well, weren't they?
Well, they just won the National League.
Right, so they just come back up.
Just come back
they
up.
Were down because they were in the league the first year we were in the job.
Yeah, they stayed. I got out at the right time there.
So you must have been playing for Macclesfield when we started the job.
I played for Macclesfield when.
Because you were here the year before.
Who scored last minute at Macclesfield?
Jack
McCall.
Jack McCall.
That was my first ever game.
I was in the stands.
Right.
I was injured, but that year I played for Macclesfield.
But I was working, but I didn't go.
And I played the first game of the season where we lost 3-2, and they scored 2 penalties.
Yes, Michael Doughty.
Was you working it?
No. We started that year, but that was the first game.
Michael Doughty.
Michael Doughty scored 2 goals.
Yeah. We were 1-0 and 2-1 up until the 93rd minute. They scored 93 and 95.
The first ever game, and that game, it was the first game of the season.
That was a crazy game.
That was mad.
But in terms of reality check, like, wow, what have we walked into? I've come from Swindon, good club, good facilities, Millwall, same, Macclesfield, and then you've gone, oh my god. Like,
tell you what though, their facilities
now.
Top now, but mate, it was a dive. It was a bad.
I'm glad they've picked up back to.
So that was that, and obviously Mark Yates got sacked. Sol Campbell come in January, did really well. Loved me.
That must have been mad when he came.
Yeah, crazy, because he brought in Andy Cole as well.
Andy Cole.
Brought in Andy Cole as a striker coach.
Yeah.
But he was like an assistant.
Yeah.
And just didn't know what to expect, but it was crazy, mate. Like, we weren't getting paid. We had a situation where after the season we weren't getting paid. And I remember one time we had a vote, and we was like, listen, if it's whatever the vote goes, we're sticking to it, whether there's one in it.
Yeah.
And it was like 13-12 to not train or play.
Oh wow.
So we was like, oh, whatever. I can't remember what I chose. I think I chose not to train. You got to think. The money we was all on there was peanuts in terms of football.
Yeah.
In terms of football money, it was nothing, mate. Like,
Yeah.
lads relied on that. Like,
Yeah, of
genuinely
course.
relied
It's
on
just
it.
like a normal wage. Like,
Genuinely relied on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there
Totally
was
bills.
some lads couldn't afford petrol. They were sleeping in their cars. It got that bad. Like, couldn't afford rent. So we had a meeting, and Sol couldn't understand it. And I remember one lad was like, Gaffer, no disrespect, you are a multi-millionaire.
exactly that.
You have played for Arsenal, Tottenham, England. You've played at the top level.
Yeah.
You can't understand what we're going through right now. He was like, we've obviously made the decision not to train and play to try and push the money forward, because I think someone said we've got lads sleeping in their cars. We've got lads not able to pay their petrol. Like, that's the severity of the situation we was in. And he was just like, yeah, like it's your pride and stuff like that. And then I think Andy Carr understood a little bit. Andy Carr understood a little bit more. And then it took Sol to make one phone call. He went out, made one phone call to the chairman. Bam, got paid.
All got paid.
All got paid.
So it happened,
Sol covered it.
Oh, did he?
Sol covered the pay for us,
No way, just
which is unbelievable, really.
that's incredible.
Like,
That's class.
Yeah.
he paid every player, not individually. I think it still came from like the club, but he gave the club the money.
We were in a similar situation a few years back where just before like coming up the club, and we went a couple of months without getting paid. If it got any longer,
You don't understand, yeah.
I also
People
like-
don't realise.
Literally,
We're not on the millions that
It also doesn't matter how
like,
much money you're on.
you live to your means.
You live
Live to your means, yeah.
don't
If you're on X or £100 a week, like, you're gonna live to what you're on.
To
Yeah,
what you're on.
for
And
sure.
then if you suddenly don't have any of that,
You really do see it, and
You've
it
got a
affects you.
problem.
It affects you and your family. And like, I was lucky at the time. I was only 21. I didn't have a family, a missus, or
Yeah.
I was in a clubhouse. I don't even know if they were paying.
when,
the rent-
when we
rent on
had that, my
but-
boy was what, 4,
Yeah,
I think. We had just moved house.
yeah.
Like
It's
you know,
horrible, mate,
like,
yeah, it's
and I was
horrible,
like,
it's
I'm not
horrible.
getting paid.
Like, if
Yeah,
I had
that's
that
right,
situation
I'm gonna-
now,
No, it was.
I couldn't deal with it for long, because I've got my family.
I went 2 months and I was literally, if nothing had happened, I was ringing Tesco and I was going to get a job.
Yeah, mate. I don't blame you, because you can't
And that was just
can't
that
work
would've
for
been
free,
me,
can you? And then the way it was done as well, it was so disrespectful. Like, the chairman had no thought for any of the lads and what they were going through. He was from Dubai. I think he lived in Dubai, and he was from Iraq. I think Amir something. I can't remember his name. And he was just an absolute whopper of a man, because he just had no thought for
No,
what.
just didn't care.
Didn't care, mate.
Didn't care.
If you could say to him, mate, Mr. Chairman, someone's sleeping in their car, they can't afford it, he'd just be like,
You'd have gone, oh well.
just look right through you.
Yeah.
Just didn't care, mate.
Yeah, that's.
And he had the money.
Yeah.
He had the money, and I don't know what was going on, but we just didn't get paid. And it got to a point, we had Lincoln, and I had a trigger in my contract, and I was the only one, and I was one game away from triggering another year. And I'd only signed a year. We had about 9 games left. So I said to the lads, I was like, lads, how do you feel if I refuse to play on my own? I was like, I know I'm the only one in this situation. I said, but I can't put myself through potentially triggering another year and tie myself into a year of
Yeah, not being paid.
or
all over the place,
club
yeah.
going bust or
Yeah.
something. I can't do it. And they was like, Smudge, 100% do it. We'd all do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We
You've
wish
got to
we
look-
had that clause.
Again, you've got to look after yourself.
So I didn't want to do it behind the lads' back, because I thought they're my teammates. I don't want to go
Yeah.
against them and be the only one to do it. So I went and I pulled Sol, and I was like, can I have a word? I was like, I'm not going to play. I was like, unless I get a contract within the next 12 hours. This was like 9 o'clock in a hotel in Lincoln. We had Lincoln in at 3 o'clock the next day. I was like, I'm not going to play. I can't trigger the year. He was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I need something. In paper, you either remove the clause by tomorrow morning, or I need concrete contract sent over to me and my agent that I'm going to get paid in the next week or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, alright, okay, leave it with me. Chairman rang me, he was like, I'll have something over to you in the morning. So I'm thinking, brilliant.
Okay.
Nothing ever came, didn't play. think Sol in the media just said he's hamstring. Didn't play the next game. We had 6 games left. So I had to come to the decision then. I was just like, right, do I not play the 6 games? We were 5 points adrift.
Right.
And we were on the march. So we were about 12 points adrift at one point.
Yeah.
So I thought, do I leave? Do I not play and potentially let the team down? Because I felt like I was a big part. I was the top goal scorer of the team at the time. Sol loved me. Do I not play and continue my stance of I'm not playing, I'm not triggering another year, or do I play and go, do you know what, I'm going to get a move anyway? Have that mindset, or I'll go anyway.
Yeah.
So I made that decision to just go, right, I'm going to play and I'm going to move anyway. And then I played. We ended up staying up. We needed Swindon to beat Notts County last day of the season.
Yeah, they got
And we needed to draw or win, and we drew, and you beat Notts County.
As much as that was a great day for you, that was a horrible day for us.
Yeah.
Because Notts County had been in the Football League forever.
Yeah, first time ever.
And it was the first time they'd been
But I remember at
relegated.
half time we were 1 down, and I think they were maybe 1-0
Yeah,
up.
we come back in the end.
Yeah, they were 1-0 up.
But they
We were like, oh my god.
Kane Woolery was doing. What's that movie?
Him and Theo Robinson did Stone Cold Stunner on each other as their celebration.
Yeah.
And like that getting relegated, it was like.
But they were all crying, and it was like, it was horrible.
So we stayed up, and I made the right decision because about 3 weeks prior to that, I knew I was going to sign for Northampton.
Right.
Because Keith Cole rang me, everything had been sorted, and they gave me a 3-year deal at Northampton.
But obviously, the next year they ended up the year where COVID hit and the season got cut short. That was when they
went bust.
They went.
Yeah, and I got out. Like I said, I got out at the right time because a year later they were gone.
Yeah, now luckily they got complete. We went out there and trained there.
I think they're on the way back now.
Yeah,
Like,
a couple of years ago, obviously Robbie Savage is there now. We
Yeah.
went up there a couple of years ago. They've got an Astro now, 4G.
Yeah, I know. It's lovely.
But like they got
even
gym,
inside,
like
everything about it.
So that's good.
He's done a great job.
Yes, it's lovely. That's a great little
Obviously,
setup.
like that happened to them. It happened to Bury.
Yeah,
So,
they're
yeah.
on the march again as well. I
Yeah,
think they're winning the leagues. They're quite low down. Aren't
Yeah, but they're making their way back.